broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
I mean, I look slightly...
Good evening, AfterBuzzers. We are here at the AfterBuzz TV studios, giving you everything American Horror Story Season 4. I am your host for the evening, David Schifilliti, joined by my beautiful team again. To my left, Sarah Huggins. Hello. Across the table, Jillian Leff.
Hello, hello.
And Oriana Leo.
Hi, everybody.
So happy you ladies are back with us.
We're happy too. We are too.
Back together. It's Season 4, Episode 2, Massacres and Matinees.
Ooh.
Dream team.
I'd like to do a shout out to you, David, for wearing stripes, because I'm still on Wednesdays we wear black from last
That's
season.
what I thought we were doing, no?
And apparently, according to Jillian, Mr. Ryan Murphy says on Wednesdays we wear stripes.
Yes,
Okay.
he tweeted that out today. So,
fan freaks, I want to see your stripes that you're wearing on Wednesdays, and shout out to David for bringing it.
I just totally lucked out and happened to wear stripes.
I have to get a whole new wardrobe.
I know, right?
I have so much black.
So do I.
This week's episode, we're still meeting a lot of new characters, and I feel like a lot of things are still happening, and we did have a longer episode again this week, which was great.
We have a lot of people still to meet, though, I feel
We
like.
do still have a lot of people to meet, but overall, personally, I really enjoyed tonight's episode. What did you guys think?
I agree. I liked it better than the first one, actually.
I was really waiting to meet Desiree Dupree, Angela Bassett, triple boob. So I'm excited that we got an introduction to her because I was obsessed with her last season. So I was really excited to see what Ryan was going to do with it this season, and also all of the pre-premiere rumors that I heard about her flashing her tatties to the cast members when she was filming, and I'm just really excited. Yeah, she was flashing her prosthetic boobies.
I'm so curious how they managed to do that.
It's just a
Is that
prosthetic
like
piece.
an Aaron?
Like a plate?
Yeah,
we gotta
I'm sure.
tweet them.
Yeah, we need to find out.
I don't know if you guys heard of the viral story of a woman claiming to get plastic surgery to have 3 boobs.
Right.
Well, it ended up being a prosthetic piece, which is exactly what Angela wears.
Right.
And it basically just lays over, and it's just silicone, like anything else. And
It's like what the drag queens wear.
exactly.
It's
and
like all 3 or just the one
all
is
3,
the prosthetic?
baby. All
Okay.
3. Yeah.
Interesting.
Because you have to get the double cleavage.
Yeah.
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 Interesting.
I enjoyed the episode, but I did feel like the pace was a little slow.
It was low.
But I think I'm also still kind of coming off Coven and having so much more action. There hasn't been too much action, but I know it's expository. We're learning a lot.
We are.
Right? And only so much action can happen while we get to know these characters.
Right.
I have the feeling the next couple episodes are going to be a roller coaster.
See, but I didn't feel like it was lacking this episode. I felt like the pacing was great because we're still sort of, on the ride with them. And I actually am liking this already better than last season. I know that we were still...
Strong word.
I
I know.
know.
Listen, guys, I read your YouTube comments, and really the battle in the comments seemed to be our strong opinions on the singing. Some people really liked the singing. Some people didn't like the singing. I have to admit, I didn't like it in the first episode, and I kind of loved it this episode. So I think that really brought everything together for me because it added to the storyline, which we'll get into. But I don't know. I really liked it. I thought there was enough gore and scare, and I thought that there was enough serious moments. I don't know. Comparing it, David, from the first episode to this episode, how are you feeling now?
I'm feeling a lot happier about the singing.
Well, because they didn't do an old song in the wrong era, maybe.
They did. They did Fiona Apple.
But not, well...
Which is fine. You know what? We're going to have to learn to deal with it. And one of our fans was tweeting us and was like, don't forget, Baz Luhrmann, Moulin Rouge did the same thing.
Truth.
Whatever. My whole issue with the singing and the time era and the songs being out of place is that these characters are all based on real people, as opposed to Moulin Rouge, which wasn't necessarily based on real people.
Right.
Whatever. Neither here nor there. But compared to from last week to this week, I'm a lot happier with the way the story's being told.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that I necessarily love it more than Coven.
I get a little bit confused with the songs being from different eras in the sense that I feel like I'm learning to love these people and understand the era that they're in, understand how they're being treated.
Because that is also very important.
It's really important. Their era is a character in the story.
Yeah.
So to flip the script and have a sort of misplaced song is confusing to me. I hope that there is a reason down the line that becomes evident other than it's cute.
I don't think there's going to be a reason.
But to me, it just confuses me as a viewer because I really want to.
Does it sort of like take you out of the story?
Yes, it takes me out of the time frame. You know,
because they do play like the full song too. Like it's not just like a touch. It's like full on musical moment.
It's the Glee performance.
Yes,
I mean, we
is.
talked about it last week. You know, Glee is ending, and maybe he's looking for an outlet to share his song and dance with everyone. We have to remember though, this isn't the first time that singing has come up in season 2 when Jessica Lange sang the Name Game, which a lot of the fans loved and a lot of the fans hated. You know, I don't think there's ever going to be one side to this argument that we're going to have probably the entire season. I mean, obviously there has to be a spectacle element to the freak show, so we're going to hear more songs.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it is what it is.
They have to have something.
I thought it was really interesting before we jump in because I got to attend the premiere on the Sunday before last, and I got to do the red carpet, but also watch the premiere at Chinese theater, which was amazing. And so it was definitely a different experience to be there with that whole group. But one of the things that Ryan said, and pretty much everyone repeated on the carpet, was that this season is the most touching and the most disturbing, and that we will feel closer to the cast, to the characters, but that we will be the most disturbed than we ever have. And so to me, I'm kind of looking for clues here, and I'm not 100% sure where that's leading us.
He actually talked about it. I don't want to jump to news and gossip, but Ryan, but it makes sense to talk about it now. He had spoke about Matt Bomer's character coming up in the season, and he said that there's a specific scene with Michael Chiklis and him that is quite possibly the most disturbing thing they've ever caught on camera.
Oh, God.
So what that could be, I don't know. But as far as the closeness,
I have ideas.
In this episode, I think one of the main things running out is the whole seeking a scapegoat idea, and how it's so easy to pin something on somebody that's different.
Well, it's also like one of those things, a mob mentality. Once one person starts thinking it, then everyone sort of starts thinking it.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see that with the cops, which is where the episode started. The cops come to the quote-unquote new people in town, the freaks in town, and they're questioning them about the murders and how there's a cop missing now. And we know that from last week's episode that they got rid of the cop. They took care of him mob style, right?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know if you guys talked about this last week because I missed the very beginning of your show, but this is the first time that they don't do a flashback kind of at every beginning, at every start, because it does take place in a different era, but like if you remember, well, maybe not as much as in Asylum, but they did do a lot of flashbacks to like...
In Asylum, it was sort of like a flash. The whole episode was a flashback.
Right.
Yeah.
But like in this one, they don't... Did you notice like at the beginning, they're not doing any flashbacks at all.
We had one tonight,
Yeah, we had one with Desiree.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah, where Strongman killed.
Oh, right. But usually they start the show with it though.
Right.
And they didn't. But I just noticed that.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I just had an idea.
I was
Flash
just
moment.
noticing
I was thinking about the stripes. Did you notice in that scene where there's a few gentlemen and they're like, what is your friend doing? Oh, he's trying to change his stripes. Do you remember that? He's gay, and he was having sex with Desiree, and he was so excited that he was aroused and that maybe this meant he could have a normal life.
Interesting.
And I was thinking, tying the two with stripes and wearing stripes on Wednesdays, being who you really are.
I looked at it as like the circus tents are striped.
Ooh, I think there's a through and through.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be an
Carries
interesting
over.
theme. Sorry, that was mine.
That is very interesting.
Yeah, that's good.
But, there are other people in the show trying to change their stripes. And Jimmy sort of he's one of these characters in the season who just wants to be recognized as a normal, I did that in air quotes for those of you just listening, person in society.
I was just gonna say I had like a whole rant last week on the phone,
On the phone with me.
David. Our private conversation. I love this show. I just, in seeing the first 2 episodes, we get it. Like the freaks are like everybody
They want to be
else.
normal, but it's sort of like it's a running theme through a lot of Ryan Murphy's work.
But it hasn't been as thrown in my face as the first 2 episodes of this. And I don't know if it's going to be continuing. I mean, I just feel like
agree.
every other word is, we're just like everybody else. We're not freaks. We're not this. It's like, we just want to be treated normal. It's like, we understand.
Yeah.
It happened. Okay, I'm going to... Our fans
argue?
might be mad at me
Don't
for doing
hate
this,
me.
but the first season of Glee, and I know, whatever, they're not the same show, but the first season of Glee, every episode someone got slushied in the face.
That's true, but it was like more subtle that way. I don't know. It was like kind
A
of.
red slushie to the face?
I mean,
But also,
I mean, I guess they're not
But it's
necessarily
show,
saying
don't
it.
tell. And so
Yeah.
I think the thing that you're having an issue with is that there's a whole lot of telling.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, we get it. Just show us now.
the
Okay.
scene
And
in the
hopefully-
diner. Yeah.
The scene in the diner was a bit much.
I was just like, I get it. Oh, we already got that in like one of the beginning scenes, where they were showing what they did to the cop. It's like, we got that whole spiel already.
Right.
This episode. So, I mean, I love it. I love the message of it, actually. I just don't need it said every single time we see these people.
Yeah.
We understand. They're just like everybody else.
And
Got it.
I think also with the show don't tell thing is that you need to, I would like to feel like Ryan and the team think I'm intelligent enough to pick up on it without you having to tell me all the time.
Totally.
So I agree with you, and I'm hoping that there might be a little bit of a shift in going forward.
And I love the show. I'm not saying I don't. I just don't hate me, fam.
Jillian looks like she has something she wants
No,
to say.
I agree with you too, but I also feel like this is the theme of the entire season. If they're gonna beat it into us, they're gonna beat it into us. I mean, it is what it is. Like,
We have to accept it.
yeah, I mean, they're different people. The entire series is about being different, and
They just look different. They're not
we haven't
necessarily...
even gotten to the good stuff. I mean,
We haven't.
there's supernatural elements this season.
Right.
There's so much that we don't know that I think
yeah.
they're really just setting the stage and telling the story up front so that they can get into all the really creepy, scary, weird stuff.
I hope so, because they have showed windows into each what we think that each character is going to be grappling with this season. So obviously they're going to expand on it. I mean, Ryan has openly said in articles that Dell Toledo, the strongman, has a very, very dark past that we're going to find out about. Him and Kathy Bates together. We sort of actually there was 2 flashbacks in this episode.
Yeah.
The flashback of a young Kathy Bates and a young Michael Chiklis.
Which I thought was strange that Michael Chiklis played himself, but Kathy Bates did not.
That is a bit
Yeah, that was a little odd. That was a little odd.
You didn't notice that? It was not
I was
Kathy
just thinking
Bates.
about it because there is an
You were like, who is
actor
that?
who is playing the young Michael Chiklis. I'm like, why didn't they use him? That's interesting.
I guess we can talk about this in predictions, but I have a theory about Matt Bomer and
Hold on to
yeah,
that.
we'll
Write it
hold on to
down
it.
so that you
All
don't
right,
forget,
all right.
but hold on
I mean,
to
I
it.
won't forget.
I mean, there are... Okay. We've talked about the freaks wanting to be normal.
Right.
How they want to blend into society. And then on the opposite end, we have Dandy, who blends perfectly
Yes.
into 1950s society with his mom, Gloria.
They are
who's played by
amazing,
the
by the way.
Immaculate Frances Conroy.
Balenciaga.
Balenciaga! Everyone's just waiting for her to scream that, but it's never going to happen.
I know.
That would be so inappropriate.
But she is so oblivious to everything that's going on around her.
Well, I think that she feels threatened by her son. He's a loose cannon. She knows this, and she's a pleaser. She just wants to make sure that
It's the 1950s.
She's an enabler.
Yeah.
But it's also the 1950s, so she fits perfectly into that ideal of what a 1950s housewife and mother should have been.
I was gonna say my grandmother is exactly the same. Like people will be fighting like full on like brawl in front of her, and she'll be like, "Coffee, anyone?" And it's like you're like, "Are you on this planet?" But at the same time, there's something like really beautiful about that because she like doesn't live for the drama. Like, I feel like a lot of
memory and like seeing
selective attention.
There you go.
Right.
But also, where's Dandy's daddy?
Right.
You know,
Great question.
we have no idea. Right now, we've just seen the housekeeper,
Patti
Gloria,
LaBelle.
Gloria and Dandy. So
Well, Patti LaBelle, because we don't know her name yet, or did we find out her name? Who the hell knows? Patti LaBelle is talking to Gloria about how the neighbor's cat is missing, and there's some fur in the backyard, and Dandy's screaming about how he wants to be a thespian, and he just wants to be out in society, and he's freaking out about all that stuff, and turns out he is bona fide serial killer.
No, in the making.
In the making, because he's killing small animals. But you know, it's like one of those things that we know now.
He's tremendously bored, right? That is not a reason, okay?
It's definitely not a reason.
But there is also a reason. There is a saying of the idle hands are the devil's playground. You know what I mean? Like, he has,
especially with a sociopath.
He has nothing to do. And then also, I thought it was interesting, Gloria, you know, when she acquires Twisty for him, the way she's like, do whatever you want with him. Well, with that, with no supervision and all the toys in the world and being told to do whatever you want.
And with all the money in the world, apparently.
And this sense of superiority over everyone else, it's not really rocket science that this is happening. You know what I mean?
Like, and
I
she
love-
babies him. He's drinking cognac out of a crystal
Bottle!
That was amazing.
Amazing.
But I love too
Incredible.
that Gloria was not scared of Twisty at all. She's just like, hi.
Coffee?
Yeah.
That's exactly how it was.
Yeah.
She's like,
Do you play... Can I
you
hire
perform
you?
at children for children?
That's what it was.
Yeah, for children.
and
It's like
these
she
people
doesn't
not
have a
have
child.
eyeballs is what I want to
Who
know.
picks up a clown on the side of the road looking like that? All
a woman in
dirty.
desperation.
Yes.
Right.
She didn't look that
Desperate
desperate.
times.
That was one of the scariest scenes ever when she let him into the room, when she let Dandy into the room, and
You're
he's
just
just
like-
standing there, and you're like, what is going to be
He
happening?
didn't seem
in
to
here?
care either. He went on and on, wants to act
puppets.
out the king and I with
Yeah.
puppets, and then he's like, oh, you're right, puppets are... What did he say? He said something very
Provocative
interesting.
something. Oh, no, he said your silence.
They're the sad cousin to a lot of performance.
And your silence is provocative.
Yes.
I love that.
And then he tells him to choose a toy so that he can go through the bag.
Right.
Finds a head, which we find out later what was in the bag, a head. Doesn't even seem to care.
No, well, so I think he's figuring out that this really is his best friend.
This is his best friend.
Mentor.
He
whatever.
prefers human puppets.
Yeah.
And we finally get to see what's under the grin, which
Okay,
I'm still
we saw...
unsure about.
I have...
Carl, did you see what Carl said? He said that he has like razors for teeth or something.
It looked like a gaping hole.
And maggots.
With like,
I saw like something crawling out. It was like I don't know if it was like his tongue, but it was like purple. Maybe it was
Disgusting.
bugs.
It looked like bugs to me
looked
because
like
it happened so
bugs.
quickly, and I was like, ugh!
and they were kind
And I
of
was
like,
just like shocked
I
that
felt
my eyes didn't focus.
It was coming out like this.
Ew.
I don't know, kind of wormish type. Ugh, I don't know. It's amazing how
frightening.
how quickly Dandy has devolved. You know what I mean? Like he's already this,
The snap
like you
of a
said,
finger.
sociopath, like just
Yeah.
waiting. But to bring his own mother brings the evil into his home. That is just the trigger he needs to like go on a real killing spree if that's what's happening.
And
I don't
he's
know.
so into it because the girl and the boy get loose. Twisty gets the boy, and Danny comes back and he's like, "We're gonna have to tie them up better." What did he say?
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a better
Well,
job.
because
We're gonna
the
have to
girl
work
is all
on
excited when she
containment
saw
if we're gonna
him.
have a good time or whatever.
Yes, that's exactly what he said.
Which is remarkable. That you know, he just picks her up, throws him over his shoulder, and is like, tisk tisk, Twisty the clown. You better tie them up better next time. Like,
Look who
But
I
what's
have.
weird to me is that he keeps like Twisty keeps those two as his like playmates. You
He wants
know.
them to be his friends. He brought a toy for him.
Well, right, but he kills other people. You know.
no, you're right on. I was gonna say
he killed an adult man.
but he seems very childlike.
Is that the only one
Yeah.
we've
Did you
seen him
notice
kill?
that? No, we saw him. Yeah.
Okay, so we've seen him kill
3 people.
the boyfriend,
Right,
and then
which I
the
got.
mother and father to the little boy.
Oh, right.
And then we know him.
and then in
and then the
Hanley's
Toy
toy
Story
shop,
Andy.
and the guy who got the knife through the neck.
Hanley.
Yes, and
Yes.
Why them? Like they don't make sense to me. That
I don't know at all, but I was just thinking about his behavior is very childlike.
Yeah.
Where he has these really sad eyes, and it's like he's pondering and thinking, and then the way he is with his bag, he's very possessive, but kind of in
Like a blankie,
like
yeah.
a blankie, like a binky. Like there's this childlike sort of innocence about him, to the other side of how disgusting
So are
and
you
murderous
saying
he
that-
is.
he possibly might not know what he's doing when he kills people?
No, but I think it's an interesting way that it's being played, at least.
Well, he presented the head to the girl just like he presented the toy, the little tin robot, to the boy.
And it reminds me of a dog. When the dog goes and kills a mouse and brings it to you and is so proud of himself that he brought you a treat and you're horrified and they're like, what's wrong? I feel like that's kind of the way he's behaving.
But I feel like he kind of, I mean, he is a loose cannon because they do like entertain, like they try to pretend like they're not horrified because they clearly pick up on the fact that he's trying to be nice, but he's still like one tiny little thing sets him off and he goes completely crazy. So I just can't figure out like what he ultimately wants from them, just like playmates whenever he wants them, or like he's not going to kill them anytime soon, most likely.
Right, and because he's not talking to us or to anyone.
Well, I don't think he has a mouth.
I don't think he does.
I swear
either.
it was
He was making noises. Like you could hear him going,
Right.
You don't need lips and like a mouth or teeth to make noise.
No.
But like also, whose skin cap is he wearing? Because we got it. Because when we
said that's so matter of factly.
No, but it's like
true.
It's true because
where did this come from?
We sort of he's been very darkly shown on the screen, and when he was in the Mott's house, as you can see, you know, the colors have been completely different. Everything was pristine and clean. When he's under those bright lights and the camera is circling around him and Dandy is walking the perimeter of Twisty, you can see that he's clearly wearing a cap of someone else's head and someone else's hair.
Right.
So we saw what's under the smile, what's under the cap, and whose head is that? You know, because like...
And have they scrambled his brains or something and put a cap back on?
I really have no idea.
Nightmares, Oriana. Thank you for
I'm just thinking this, you know?
Also, I want to talk about something last week because I was really interested in a lot of the comments that our fans have been leaving on the YouTube channel. And we were talking about the end scene where the entire freak show was stabbing the cop and as Twisty looked on.
Yes.
And I really strongly believe that he is possessive of everything else. He is possessive of his killings, and he is like, why are they doing what I do?
Okay.
And after watching it again and watching the scene again and watching his face, I really feel strongly that he doesn't want to be a part of the freak show. He wants to end it. Right. And I think that that's where Dandy comes in because they don't want Dandy either. You know, obviously.
Because Dandy doesn't necessarily fit in with that group.
No.
Well, yeah, and I mean, Evan Peters' character, you know, had that really nice speech about his hands, and you know, I would do anything to be normal. And even after seeing that, it just made me think so much of what the commenters were saying, because I know we were kind of on the fence last week about was he like, jealous? Did he want to be a part of it? Like, you know, was he ready to hop in with the scissors? Like, let's do this, you know? And I just really think that it's going to cause conflict because they are doing killing that he wants to be doing.
And he wants to take credit for it all, right? And then all this stuff is on the news.
But do you
he's
think,
proud.
Yeah.
Do you think that the freak show is going to continue to like kill people?
I think that they will do anything to protect each other.
Right.
So if that means killing, then that means
Keep
killing.
it in the family.
Yeah. I mean, look, they had Grace Gummer in a friggin' opium den.
She loved it.
She loved it.
It's on video.
The first episode.
Right?
Can I just say, my friend, I watched it with a friend, and she was like, did I miss a sex tape? Like, everyone was like, there was a sex tape. I was like, no, don't you remember that scene? That it was like, I mean, I guess it's hardly a sex tape, but whatever.
It's a circa 1952 sex tape.
Yeah.
I mean,
vintage.
Yeah.
Vintage. I like it.
Before we move on, I do want to say that we love our fans. We love hearing from you. We love that you commented so much on YouTube. We also need your comments on iTunes, so don't forget to rate, subscribe, tell your friends.
Yeah.
I like it too because like it makes me think of different things in the episode that I would have never known.
They have so many more insights into it.
So
we jump
much.
into it right after watching the episode that you guys have a little bit more time to digest all the information, and it gives us a lot of help with what's coming up in the upcoming episodes and the season.
And you know what? We really do listen, and I'm even going to share some fan theories in predictions because I liked them that much. I really got...
I love it.
Today, I went through all of the comments. I know I tried to reply to as many as possible, but there was like 75 comments and then people commenting under the
That's
comments.
so awesome.
It was just great. Like, I love that there are super fans just like us out there.
Yeah.
And it's so nice to be able to have that outlet to talk to you guys. So thank you, and make sure you spread the word about our show. Yeah.
Spread the word.
Spread the word.
Gave me a really gross segue. Someone who's spreading the word tonight is Desiree.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk about Desiree, even though we sort of did. Desiree and Strongman Dell.
Yes.
We got introduced to them, and they are married.
They're
Yes,
married.
They're married.
I was a little confused on that.
I was a little
don't know
confused from the
why.
flashback of why is she having sex with this random person? And then he
Right.
gets angry. Like, I thought, is this part of their gig? Or what? I'm guessing we're going to learn more.
Because we don't know too much information about them. We know they came from Chicago.
We know
She's
that
a hermaphrodite.
he has a rap sheet.
Right.
We know that he used to be with Kathy Bates's character Ethel, and
At some
that
point.
and that he has a son in the Freak Show.
And something went
Jimmy.
terribly wrong because the way
Yeah.
that Ethel has been talking about him this whole episode
Well, it
and
looked
warning
like
Jimmy to
in
stay
the
away.
flashback, he was going to kill him. He was going to kill the
Kill the
baby.
baby. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because I was eating. Sorry.
And then she had a gun.
Yeah.
And she stopped him with the gun.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Don't you dare. Okay.
The thought of them being romantically involved to me
gross.
is horrifying.
Yeah. Well, he has a thing for talented ladies.
That's
right.
true.
Well, also,
Extraordinary.
Desiree introduces herself as a hermaphrodite. She says, I'm a real life hermaphrodite.
David had a lot of questions about that,
Yeah.
by the way. He
Well,
was like,
just because you got 3 boobies
Doesn't make
doesn't
you
necessarily make you a hermaphrodite.
So
So,
that
what would
means
make
she
you a
has-
hermaphrodite?
Does that mean boy and girl parts?
Yes,
Yes.
it does.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that you have a penis and a vagina.
No. They're
No.
usually
Could be
not
like a
fully
micro
developed.
penis?
Yes.
Correct.
could be like
She
Hedwig.
probably has a, yes.
Hedwig was not a hermaphrodite.
Micro penis,
Well,
I bet.
But he had a botched sex change operation.
That's completely
so
different.
I was gonna
We're not going to
say.
discuss that. But Jamie Lee Curtis is a famous hermaphrodite.
That's true.
Right? So it's just like, it's one of those things like, what is going on down
back
there?
in the day, in this vintage 1952 era, there wasn't like sex reassignment surgery for babies the way there is
Right.
now. So if the way you came out was the way you came out, and then whichever one you had, whichever genitalia was more developed was the
Right.
gender they picked, and they dressed you that way.
Right.
Whether or not
Right.
that's how you were going to identify or not, or the hormones in your body or the chromosomes in your body, it was like, it looks like this, it's a girl.
Well,
Yeah.
and she's pretty masculine. Like the way she comes off to me is pretty masculine.
She has a very strong energy.
yeah.
I thought she was just ferocious.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does Angela Bassett play
Ferocious or
anyone other than
masculine?
ferocious?
Not with those arms. Come on. Come on.
I feel like she
But
could
even-
beat Dell up.
Yeah, serious. But even the way she speaks to me is very like, hey guys, like it's very
Yeah, I'm a
rough.
real hermaphrodite. Like,
Right.
what? Okay.
Right, all right.
Dell has this idea of making money since the cops have said there's going to be a
Curfew.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Brain fart.
Which I thought was
He
a great
wants
idea,
to do
actually.
a matinee, which is a wonderful idea.
I agree.
But Elsa's sort of like, no, the freaks only come out at night.
Right.
Yeah, she was really against it. But I have to admit, from the first show that we saw with just Dandy and Gloria in the audience to a pretty packed house and even a mosh pit.
Crowd surfing.
Yeah.
A mosh pit in the front, guys, at a freak show.
Well, he's clearly a genius marketer.
Listen, she has a failing business. Elsa has a failing business. And it's like, whether you like the guy or not, and he has new ideas, do you want to take care of your family?
Right.
You pay the bills.
But she
Right.
also wants to. Sorry, my glasses are squeezing my face like crazy. Jeez.
Wow,
Sorry.
that's really freaky. Go on.
These headphones. Elsa not only wants to take care of her family, but she wants to be the star.
That's right.
So, whether or not she wants to make money and make sure her family is taken care of, she wants to make sure that she's at the center of it
Absolutely.
all.
I don't think I think she says we're a family and she says we take care of each other.
But she says, "You people,"
yes.
to Jimmy.
My monsters, you
Yes.
freaks. Like, she really doesn't identify with them. She's she identifies as the ringleader, right?
Yes.
Right, because you don't see her like hanging out with anybody outside
We
of it.
also don't know if she was born without legs or if she lost her legs.
I feel like she lost them in some crazy way.
I don't know, but I think it's interesting. You know, we
Polio.
saw her the name on the bill
Yes.
at being at the bottom and how horrified she was. And it wasn't that he beat the crap out of Jimmy. that is the reason that Strongman Dell should leave. It's because her name's at the bottom of the bill.
Yeah.
And Jimmy knows that that's going to upset.
That's why he pointed it out.
Yeah, he knows that's going to upset her.
Yeah. Man.
Smart people. To a certain extent.
Yeah.
They were very smart. Jimmy tries to hide the shield in the strongman's.
Is that what you call it?
A badge.
That was a nice little Michael Chiklis segue,
with
the
you,
shield.
too.
Weird he's over here. We're finishing each other. We haven't seen each other in a long time.
I know.
It's just weird.
But
Was
did
Michael
anyone
Chiklis
notice?
on the shield?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He was like the lead on the shield. That was so funny.
I don't watch TV.
Anyway.
Except for Ryan Murphy
Don't
shows.
admit that. Anyways.
He tries to hide the badge in the trailer, and Dell sees him, and he moves it into Meek's. Meep. Thank you.
Meep.
I keep wanting to call him Meep.
Poor Meep.
Poor Meep dies tonight.
Oh my gosh, how sad. And that's
sad.
right back to the whole mob mentality, right?
Yeah.
Like somebody different gets thrown in the jail cell. Not to mention he's not even the normal size. You know what I mean? Like he's child size, and to have a mob beat him, it's disgusting.
To death.
To death.
So
It's
sad.
just it's disgusting.
It is disgusting.
And then for the cops to deliver it back to the tent.
That was super weird.
I mean, they sort of deliver it as a warning.
Yeah.
I think so.
Which is even more
Like,
sad.
we know what's going on.
And this is your future.
Yeah, I think it definitely was a message. Very mafioso like.
Yeah.
And very something
your
that the country experienced during segregation times and with all the lynchings and everything like that. I mean, it's sort of right before all of that stuff sort of really happened.
I almost going back to that with Jimmy wanting to be served in the diner. There was that part of me that was like, really, you can't have this from the civil rights movement.
But
Like,
I was telling David when I went on my rant this one night last week, I was telling him, I mean, that's like a famous, I feel like that's, I don't know if it's an actual moment in history that's super famous.
happened
but
a
it's
million
been
times over.
Yeah, it's been in like a million, every, civil rights related movie,
Yes.
like anything, they always do that diner scene. And I do think it's a powerful message, and it clearly, it sticks with you. I won't forget that scene, but yeah, is it necessary? I don't know.
I mean, are we sort of saying that the showrunners are equating the freaks with the civil rights?
that's how I
movement?
felt from
Definitely
it. Was like,
comparisons, for sure.
at least you have a group of people that are being segregated. They're, everything about their life is separate and not equal. So I totally see it relating, but it just seemed a little bit over the top. Like, I'm not African American, but I was almost offended by it. Like, really? But come on, that's our thing. You know what I mean? That's a civil rights thing.
That's our thing.
Sorry if I'm speaking out of turn, but
It could also go with anybody that's been viewed different in history.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it could be black, white, gay, straight.
Asian.
It's
Japanese.
segregation, and I could have probably done without it. Although I did like the message. I hope that they don't bring it up again like that.
Yeah, it was just it was
It'll
overt.
be interesting to see. I mean, and just like the first two, I told David when he was going to watch the second one, I was like, look, because I'd never seen it, and I was like, I have to warn you, there was one thing that bothered me, and it was that. But so it'll be interesting to see if, moving forward, like if they feel like, okay, we get it, we've got the I don't mind like once an episode. I just felt like number 2 was very heavy on the message.
Well, we'll see what happens in episode 3.
I want to talk about Elsa planting the seeds of doubt with Bet.
Oh, yeah.
Is that right? Bet?
So,
yeah.
with Bet, because Dot
Dot's got a voice.
has got a voice.
Right?
And a crush.
And Dot's going to have a boyfriend, I have a feeling.
Yeah. So I
excited.
felt like, okay, so we saw what Elsa did. Well, I'm not clear on what the weapon was that she handed
It
her.
was like, I think it was a letter opener.
Maybe. It was sharp,
It was
whatever
a sharp and silver
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
skinny. But I was thinking, like, okay, first of all, how is this? Does Elsa want the two of them gone because they represent a threat to her singing career?
But she brought them in. That's where I'm confused.
but
But
she
the look
didn't
on
know.
her face,
Yeah.
she did not know that there was a star there.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And like that's what we were saying about her wanting to provide for the family. We're gonna bring these girls in, and they're gonna draw in a crowd, and we're gonna be able to turn a profit. But what she really wants is people are gonna come see me.
Well, she just doesn't want them to be more famous than her.
Right.
That's the thing. She's totally fine with them drawing drawing a crowd as long as the crowd's not coming to only see them.
Well, why do you think she suggested they just stand there?
Right.
You know, before when Bet was, you know, not singing anything really, it was nails on a chalkboard. You know, before that, she was totally fine with them just being a freak act.
Yeah.
And just standing.
Like window dressing.
Yeah.
Exactly. And as soon as we saw the crowds forming when Dot started to sing Fiona Apple, which we were all singing along to.
Amazing.
It was
The best song
amazing.
ever.
I want to watch the music video again. If you guys haven't seen the Fiona Apple music video, it's like
Incredible.
such a part of all of our lives.
Amazing. But I'm thinking, okay, if Bet kills Dot, does she not kill herself?
They have 2 hearts.
They do, but we don't know what happens when you kill off an appendage that can't be removed. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, just,
It has
she just kinda,
happened
shrivel
in
up there.
history.
Has it?
It has happened where Siamese twins, where one died before the other one.
How? How did they die?
When like
We know that they share
don't
the
know
same
how they died,
circulatory
but I know
system,
Right?
it has
because of the cigarettes.
they share the same genitourinary and reproductive.
But they got
Yes.
4 lungs, 2 hearts,
Yep.
3 kidneys?
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's weird to me that Bet would want like a dead something
Well, I don't
or
know that
other,
she wants
like
it.
sitting next to her
Well,
all the time.
she's a big pleaser,
Yeah.
and I think that she looks up to Elsa, and you know,
That is crazy.
well, yeah, completely.
She wants to be a star.
But
She's
also,
nuts.
if we're gonna believe the flashbacks, Bet killed her mom,
Right.
so she's
wanted to
capable
kill
of
Dot.
murder.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally capable of it. But my thing is more, what is Elsa's motivation? Like, does she want the 2 of them to die, or does she want to have a minion with a dead sister on her? Like, I'm not clear on it right now.
That would be so
I think she's
interesting.
totally okay with either option.
right?
She just
Yeah.
wants them, like, she wants the star who is clearly Dot to not be there.
Yeah.
Or what if it doesn't even have to do with murder? What if it just has to do with messing up her vocal cords
Yeah,
or setting her
that's
smart?
Mm.
Yeah,
That's really
I mean,
smart.
really, if we're gonna get creative on this, like
Stab her in
I
the
feel like
throat.
you could stab her in the throat and
Well,
her
she
voice
should have
would be
been more
messed up.
specific when she handed over the weapon.
Definitely.
But I also think that Bet knows that because there's a huge risk. You know, they were in their mother's house their entire lives growing
Right.
up. No medical things have happened to them. You know, they were in a hospital once where they got looked at once, and it's like she doesn't really know what's going to happen if she kills her sister. She could
Yeah.
die too.
Well, yeah, I mean, they are sort of a medical marvel.
Yeah.
Right.
So
One
I
body,
don't
2
know.
heads.
Can I just say Sarah Paulson just kills it as
does.
opposed to that? I mean, I can't even imagine. Like,
So
what
I
it's
want
like to do that.
bring up. So Daniel, one of our fans,
Yeah.
tweeted and said, "Could you please talk about season 5 hints tonight?" R. Murphy said there are some. Did you guys pick up on
yes.
anything?
Okay.
Yes, I did.
So, is there anything else in the episode that anyone wants to discuss? I think that was mostly everything.
Yeah, I think we covered.
I think we covered most
I think
of it.
that's it.
I think that is everything.
And
So that
anything
was,
else, we will continue the conversation on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed, and I'm going to pull from a fan theory.
Do you want to hold that for predictions?
No, because it's not predictions. It's
Okay.
a theory for the next season.
Okay.
So they referenced Life on Mars, Bowie's song Life on Mars. Her
Yes.
name is Elsa Mars, and they're
In Jupiter.
Interesting.
So it could have something to do with space or aliens, extraterrestrials, 5th season.
I could
Like
see that.
Area 54.
I'm I know that
Roswell.
we sort of thought that maybe it would be about that this season, and I know that they brought up aliens in the 2nd season, but it wasn't the main focus, and I just think that it's very coincidental that everything is sort of about space.
Yeah.
Maybe something
That
that
would be
has to do with
interesting.
the discovery of life forms. I don't know, but I was riding that train. I read the comment and I was like, yes.
Wasn't
Who
that
made the
speculated
comment?
for this season
Yeah.
before? Right, because the whole UFOs, New Mexico.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other hints that you guys picked up on?
Well, he said it was in the opening. He said some hints could be in the opening credits.
I watched them really closely tonight. I did not notice anything. that had to do with anything else but
didn't. I didn't even think about it,
circus.
to tell you the truth, when I was.
I didn't either. I'm trying to be present.
I know.
I love all the speculation, but I'm really trying to enjoy every episode because when this is over, I'm sad. So I'm like, I just want to enjoy every morsel of this show. Like every
it is fun to
bit.
watch again, like to watch for the first time to kind of just experience it, and then to watch it again to be critical. So I do try to do that, but it's hard.
But let's jump into news and gossip.
Yeah, you guys have a lot.
TV news.
Who's got something for me?
I've got something. It's
Tell
a
me.
story that I tweeted earlier. I find it to be pretty amusing. This is from The Hollywood Reporter. Professional clown club attacks American Horror Story over murderous character.
This is ridiculous,
So
okay?
the most funny thing about this, and if you want to see the article, just check out my Twitter feed at Miss Oriana Leo. But the most hilarious part is that the guy who's complaining that this depiction gives clowns a bad name is also complaining that that essentially this is bad attention for clowns. Yet he is commenting and creating a huge storm, drawing more attention to the negative clown that's being depicted. This guy is full of it. But it's really funny. It talks about the dwindling numbers of clowns and how clowns are really going by the wayside because of all of the evil and nasty depictions over history. It's too good.
I mean, I feel like clowns have always been one of those things that are like scary as hell. Like,
so this article actually goes into the history of the clown characters and how far back it goes, all the way back to, I think, Edgar Allan Poe has a poem. So it's like this attention. This guy just wants attention. But
I
it's a
agree,
funny
because
article.
if you're going to blame anybody, in my world, you're going to blame John Wayne Gacy Jr., who is a famous serial killer who dressed as a clown.
Now, do you think that
That's negative attention.
Do you think that they pulled from him for Twisty? Like, I wonder.
It's possible.
What was
Gacy,
the time period?
It was the 70s. He was around from, he was killing people from 72 to 76. Or 78. 72 to 78, and he killed 33 people, but he only killed children. And his look was a very specific clown, Pogo the Clown, which was like in advertising of the time.
I mean, I think it just stems from like, I mean, I remember, well, it is like so scary to me.
Frightening.
They all float.
Which I think that was stemmed from Gacy.
Yeah, I mean, but that is like, I remember watching that, probably way too young to be watching a scary movie, and I'm still scared of drains. I can't, I'll never look at the same.
That scene where that clown comes out of the drain.
Don't even talk about it. But I was gonna say, I feel like if you surveyed people, like 100 people, like over half of them would say that clowns were one of their biggest fears. Like, it's not anything new to be like a scary clown.
Well, speaking of clowns and fears, there was another story this week about a clown popping up in Wasco, California.
Where?
It's by Bakersfield.
It's by Bakersfield.
Okay.
And
The land of
basically,
meth.
these photos were popping up on social media, and it was a really, creepy clown with a stoic face holding some balloons. He had a mallet and an axe in some photos, and people were starting to really get freaked out because they were calling the police about these killer clown sightings. Well, it ended up being...
Imagine being on the other end of that phone call.
Stop. It ended up actually being an art project between a photographer and her husband. He dressed up as the clown, and she is posting a photo a day. So you can find Wasco Clown on Facebook. But the freakiest part is that there were imposter clowns popping up all over different small towns in California. So there are like rogue clowns scaring the crap out of people.
And people are getting arrested.
Yeah, people are getting, I mean, like, it's drama. I don't know how I'd react if I saw a clown on the street corner. Like in the dark.
Just randomly?
I was a clown last year for Halloween.
I would freak out.
Oh my god.
One more piece of news, and I think this is something we can discuss later. A lot of the feedback I got from the premiere was that the major inspiration for this story is from the film Freaks of the 1930s, which I've never seen, but we should watch. And so I was thinking maybe when we have an off week, we could watch it together and have a conversation with our fans.
Yeah.
I kept asking about, is there historical basis for these characters? And the answer was not really. There's no like real life people per se, but that a lot of these characters are drawn directly from that film.
Okay.
Interesting. Perfect.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Any other news and gossip?
No.
Nothing, Sarah?
No?
Useless.
They had a cover.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay.
Well, we didn't see the preview for next week.
Yeah.
We did not see the preview.
So we're virgins. He's a virgin prediction.
These are ours.
It's not like the previews really show a lot.
They
But
give you something to go off of.
Okay.
Well, does anyone have anything?
I mean,
Nothing,
I was
Oriana?
gonna say
Ariana's like shaking her head. No,
I'm just like,
I ain't got nothing.
So here's the thing. I feel like I know exactly, I could predict a million things and that they will not happen
Yeah.
because this is a Ryan Murphy show and it's American Horror Story.
Right.
You know?
I'm scared to say what I think that Michael Chiklis and Matt Baum.
Oh no! Now you have to tell
Yeah,
us.
do tell.
I feel like it's hard. I mean, well, just because you said it was disturbing, I feel like it's going to have something to do with him getting molested.
I was gonna say raped.
Yeah.
I
Who's being raped?
I think
Michael Chiklis is going to be the rapist.
yeah.
Or the rapee?
No,
The rapist.
He will be the rapist, Matt
Who's
Baum.
raping Matt Bummer?
Well, I can tell
As
you
like
that
maybe a little boy.
there's a lot of disturbing and erotic material this season. So
Right.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Like, I just got, like, when you said that, it was so weird. I got this flash. I don't know if anyone's, like, a 6 Feet Under fan, but I got this flash of, my uncle actually wrote the episode. Shout out. Anyway, the one where Michael C. Hall's character gets, like, kidnapped, basically, and is, like... Yes, raped and like forced to do drugs. Like I just got that kind of vibe when you said that.
So that's where your mind went.
Interesting.
Interesting.
I am excited to, well, I guess excited is the wrong word. I'm curious to see what Dandy and Twisty are going to come up with. I fear for that little boy and girl because I think that they're going to play some serious games on them. And I'm excited to see their scheming next week. I can't wait to actually go home and watch the preview because I hope that they show a little more of something. And who knows, maybe Twisty will say a word. He's like the new Evan Peters of this season.
I was gonna say, I did say this when we were watching it, and I think I tweeted about it too. But I am glad, and I wonder if like Evan Peters, like there was like something in his contract, like you won't talk last season, but you'll be the focus. And I
He
think
had
he's
one
incredible.
season.
I think he's incredible though, and I love that like this is kind of centered around him in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So.
A lot of the other season 2 is also sort of centered around him, in a way.
Not as much as I feel
was
like
his payoff
this is
for
his
being
main
Frank and
character,
Kyle
season
Lessie.
two.
Yes.
But can I
Sure.
say too that like I think that God, I don't know how to say it. Go ahead.
Well, we're running out
I'll
of
think
time.
of
You were
a way.
right.
I'll think of a way.
I don't think I actually have any predictions. I had one small one from,
I know what I meant to say.
from last week to this week that I think is coming true about Dot,
Oh God, we're getting cut off.
and
Hurry up.
we have time between Dot and Jimmy falling for each other.
Mine has to do with that. I want to do a countdown. How many episodes do we think before the twins get laid?
Ooh, yeah, because they're virgins.
2.
2 more episodes.
I'm going to say 2. Yeah, I'm going to say 2.
I'm gonna say it's happening
Well,
next
wait,
week.
we got to
Me
think
too.
about this because the Halloween 2-parter, the Edward Mondrake,
Right.
I don't know. It might be it might flip focus away from them and onto this character that we haven't met yet.
Good call.
Do you know
what is
who's
that?
playing that?
So maybe 4. You know, I don't remember the actor's name, but
2 more would be 4.
Okay, 4. I'm gonna say
Episode 4.
I'm saying it's happening next week.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna say episode 4 as well.
Okay, so where can everybody find everybody? Oriana.
Find me on Twitter at Miss Oriana Leo or Instagram Oriana Leo. Please check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/The Oriana Leo. I've got a new episode of Running Errands in Hollywood coming up next week, and I just started vlogging, so please check it out and talk to me. Let me know what you think.
Who you running errands with?
Anyone.
No, next week.
Sid Youth. They're a fantastic pop girl group that I
Oh, I
love.
saw your pictures.
Gorge.
Amazing. Well, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jillian Leff. On my website, JillianLeff.com. On Facebook, Jillian Leff Official. I also host the How to Get Away with Murder after show on Thursdays at 8:05 on AfterBuzz TV. And I'm actually not going to be here next week, but
Boo.
Pega Rad, who was sitting here last week, she will be back to fill in for me, and then I will be back the following week.
Sarah.
I'm easy. Sarah on the go on Twitter, Sarah with an H, and SarahBear627 on Instagram.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at You Can Call Me Skiff. From everyone here at the AfterBuzz TV family, we want to say thank you and see you next week.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.